What's going on, everyone? It's the NBA Guru Show. One of the best days of the year. It's the NBA Draft 2025, and it was a dandy. And we got Ravneet Singh from YouTube channel Attack the Paint. It's been 9 years since I've done a pod with Ravneet, which is crazy. He had an old podcast called Kill the Clock back in the day. Joined it. Was a great pod, and he has a great YouTube channel right now. We got Naf in the building. We're going to dissect the heck out of all of these picks and all these with the draft expert, Ravneet. How you doing, Ravneet? What'd you think of the draft today?
I'm good, man. Draft day is one of the best days of the year, like you said. Um, yeah, I mean, I did not think there were a lot of rumors about the Kings going into the first round, even as high as 9. Um, but obviously that didn't happen. But I think, yeah, we'll get to that pick in a little bit.
Naf, how'd you feel about the draft today so far? First round is
Yeah,
done. What do
no,
you want?
it was it was a fun draft. There was some twists and turns, I thought. The Kings got in there last second, so that was a nice turn because honestly I did not expect the Kings to actually trade into the draft. And yeah, like Ravneet said, we'll talk about it right now. He's a draft expert. He'll know much more about the pick and the prospects and stuff. So yeah, just looking forward to dissecting these future talents, man.
Yeah, let's get right into it. We guaranteed it on this pod like a week ago. We guaranteed it.
Hmm.
A first round pick was going to be a lock for the Sacramento Kings. We don't lie on this channel, all right? They got the pick. They got the 24th pick from the OKC Thunder. Rumors were spreading today about how the Thunder got like 15 players on contract. They needed to like kind of get picks in the future, so they had to get rid of this one. So it happened, and they drafted Nick Clifford from Colorado State. Ravneet, what do you think about this guy?
I mean, 6'5" guard with a 6'8" wingspan. Rebounding is his like NBA skill already because he was getting 10 rebounds per game, and which is kind of crazy for his position. 4 assists, 19 points per game, about 2.5 turnovers. He's a NBA ready prospect like right now. I had him 21 on my big board. Um, there's no glaring weakness in his game. I mean, he's a solid all around player, good defensive player. He could hit tough shots, and each year he's improved. And the one thing you could say is that he's 23 years old and he played 5 years in college, but he's consistently improved, so that's a good sign. How much more room is there for him to grow? I mean, that's the question mark, and that's the thing. It kind of gives you an idea of where the Kings are going with this pick because this is a win now player, and it just shows that the Kings want to still win right now. And so that's my like little bit hesitancy with the pick in that like should the Kings have gone with the more lower, more upside player? Um, I did really like Rasheer Fleming. I think he has more of a fit with the Kings, I guess, because he plays a wing position or like he plays the 4 versus Neek is more of a 2. I guess they could play him at the 3 because of his 6'8" wingspan. But the Kings already have a lot of 2s. There's Keon Ellis, Levine, and Monk. So what do you guys think about the fit with Neek and the Kings?
Go for it, Naf.
Yeah, so I like Nick Clifford. Like you said, the biggest downside was his age, being 23. And I guess you could say like come playing for Colorado State, the competition. I don't really watch too much college basketball, but I did hear that maybe like the competition he played. But no, I really like the fit. He's a two-way wing. I've been hearing a lot of good things about it. I heard a lot of good things about his defense. And yeah, he was just a prolific scorer. 23 years old, but I think, like you said, I agree with you with the concern being that he is a win now player, and the Kings obviously traded up when. It's funny you mentioned actually Rasheer Fleming because I'm like a huge fan of Rasheer Fleming. I think he has an insane ceiling, and just his athleticism is off the charts. I would have loved that pick for the Kings. Actually, I would have taken him over Nick Clifford for sure. if I was the GM. But yeah, I think that's a concerning thing with this pick is that it fits the timeline of like win now. He's probably the most NBA ready, one of the most NBA ready players, definitely coming out of this draft. I think, and I don't know if he was the oldest player picked today, but I'm assuming he was 23 years old. So yeah, no, I mean that's pretty much the only downside is maybe the competition, the conference that he played in. Because didn't he transfer from Colorado to Colorado State, I believe?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
But I think another guy that came from Colorado State that also had a high user was David Roddy. I believe he did come out from Colorado State. So, but I think Nick Clifford is a different profile. They don't have to worry
Mhm.
about becoming a bust like David Roddy did. So no, I think it's a good fit for the Kings. And yeah, I agree with you in terms of this is like a win now move, and I would have definitely preferred Rasheer Fleming. So no, I
Um,
agree with that. What do you think, Zach?
yeah, I don't know, like his like his skill sets, like he has like pretty much a lot of good skills. Like he has a little bit of everything, right? It's not he doesn't have like
Mhm.
he can do a little bit of everything, which is kind of cool. I think the one thing that like you guys were saying, the age and stuff, like his first like few years, he didn't really do anything. Like he was averaging like
5 points, right?
yeah, like he did 1 point its first
Yeah.
year, 7 and 6. Then he had to start the last 2 years. He had the big bumps, 12 and 19 for all. This is all scoring wise. Rebounding, he looks like yeah, he's NBA ready for that. Assists per game, he was averaging 4.4 in his last year, which is pretty. That's pretty good. Um, so it has a little bit of it's maybe underrated, but like it's not too big of a playmaking, but he has something there at least. He has a little bit of touch. Shooting's decent. All his numbers look good. But yeah, it's just is this his peak? Like is he already like he's gonna be 24 when he's playing in the season.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be hopefully he's still like room growing and stuff for those last 2 years, like where he had the two big jumps. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's kind of just like a flyer in the 20s that yeah, he's already older. I know people wanted to for the Kings Twitter. A lot of people like Jace Richardson was another name that was popping up. But he's a
Jace
little
Richardson
he's
went right after, right? 25th
yeah,
to
yeah,
2050.
Orlando. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
So he was on the board. This one.
yeah, he was on the board. But the only thing with him,
I don't
he's a 19-year-old freshman. He's very small
small
though.
guard. You
Yeah,
guys have
he's
too many small guards.
He's
I mean,
small.
you guys already
yeah,
have Kevin Carter.
Yeah.
No,
yeah,
but yeah, no, I think the rebounding too. Like that's a good point. Like he's 6'5" and averaging 10 rebounds. Like
yeah.
that's kind of insane.
Yeah.
The fact that he's averaging that many rebounds at 6'5". But no, I was gonna ask you, Ravneet, like how do you think he compares to like Keegan Murray, for instance? Like, do you think there's a lot of skill overlap there, or maybe even like Keegan Murray coming out as a prospect?
Yeah. I think there is some overlap. I mean, both are older players.
Yeah.
Um, Keegan
What do you
like kind
think?
of developed over to be a better rebounder. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I think I could be wrong. I if they think he's gonna win, like play right away, which I would assume. I mean, then I think
Mm-hmm.
he's probably they're maybe thinking that he's a better fit at the 3 than the 2. And if you look at it through those lens, then I think I'd like the pick a little bit better. But I guess I think Naf and I agree on like, or I think even Zayd, we all agree like the Kings need to
Yeah.
go younger. But
Right.
if you look at like what they gave up for him, which
Mm-hmm.
was a top, which was the 2027 Spurs
Yeah.
pick, top 16 protected.
Mm-hmm.
It's, I mean, that pick is probably going to be like possibly even lower than where the Kings picked today.
Yeah.
So you can't hate it for what they had to give up. It's reasonable, and I like the trade for OKC too. I mean, they don't need any more
Yeah.
draft picks,
Yeah. Yeah.
so I think it made perfect sense for kind of both teams.
Do you think he's kind of like I mean this is a player that just came to my head, but is it like kind of like a Jalen Wells guy type of player? Is
It's
he
a good
kind of like
comp.
him?
It's a good comp. Yeah, I mean, you could say both of them are like um, really good at like everything, but master of none in a sense. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I do want to say this about Neek, like it's so hard to hit in the draft. Like we evaluate all these
Yeah.
guys like they're gonna go
Yeah.
top. But like at the end of the day, it's
Man.
like a third at best will
Yeah.
will play
It's
after five
guesswork
years.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like the one thing I feel pretty confident in saying about Nick is like I think he's gonna stick around. So I think
Mhm.
I think he's a safe pick, probably lower upside and maybe like could be redundant if he ends up being more of a two, but if he ends up being a three,
Mm.
that's kind of what the Kings are looking for.
Yeah. Do you have any like comps like Zayd just brought up Jalen Wells? I kind of like his play style. Kind of remind me of like I don't know, just because we just watched the finals, but like Jalen Williams, J Dub on the OKC. Obviously, I don't think he's gonna hit like those peaks, but I feel like they sort of play the same way. Do you have like any other comps that he can maybe in the NBA that you can compare him to?
I think I like the I like the Wells one more a little bit, just
Hmm.
because I mean Jalen Williams he was balling.
Yeah.
I guess I was just looking at NBA Draft.net. They put Doug Christie, which is ironic.
Oh,
And
Doug Christie.
uh,
That is ironic.
Cody Martin is another one they put. I think I like that comp a little bit better. Like, yeah, so I think that's a good comp.
Okay, we got Bob Gay here. Just want to give him a shout out. Appreciate the respect and the good call. We try our best here on this show for making calls and guarantees like that.
Shout out Bob.
Shout out, Bob. Let's get to some of the bigger surprises here in the draft. We know Portland made a big trade here with Memphis. What'd you think about the trade, and what'd you think about both picks from Memphis and Portland with that trade?
So remind me a little bit about the trade. I was a little bit
It
confused.
was basically the 11th pick. The 11th pick was Memphis. Sorry, Portland, and they traded it to go 5 spots down with the 16th pick, and they also gave up another first and 2 second-round picks.
Wait, another first? Really? Unprotected?
Oh yes, I
Yeah,
do remember this.
yeah,
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I think Memphis gave up a lot. It
yeah.
sounds
To
yeah
move up
that
five
because
spots, right?
To move up 5 spots. Yeah.
yeah they gave up a lot. But I like Cedric Coward. He was in my top 14 or so. So he I think he's like 6'5", 7'2" wingspan. He's like that prototypical wing that you're looking for. I've heard like OG as a comparison. He only played like 6 games in the college season because of an injury, and he was a Division 3 player. Um, but the wingspan, and the defense potential. I mean, he's really enticing. I think he fits what kind of Memphis's identity is. Um, so like he's a 3 and D guy. I mean, he's not gonna replace Desmond Bain, but like maybe Memphis is hoping that in the aggregate they could kind of replace some of that production. But I think correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't it the best of Milwaukee's pick and the Pelicans pick? Is that right?
That's for
Uh,
the Atlanta trade, I think.
Oh,
The
okay.
Hawks trade. The Hawks
Okay.
when they traded down from 13 and
Okay.
the
Yeah,
Pelicans drafted Derek Queen, right? I think it was Derek
yeah,
Queen.
yeah.
that's right. Yeah, they moved 10
Yeah.
spots down. Yeah, that pick will be
That's
could
a
be
That
very
very
was
good.
a
bad trade.
terrible
That was
trade.
a very bad
Terrible
trade
trade.
because that,
That is a
yeah,
terrible trade.
because there's like a 90%
I
chance
don't
that that
understand what the
Pelican,
Pelicans
yeah.
are doing, honestly.
Yeah.
That
So
yeah,
I
because they traded the first round pick next year, and they're not even going to be good next year, and it's unprotected.
yeah,
yeah.
that's gonna be a top 8 pick. That's got to be a top
Yeah,
eight
to move
pick.
up 10 spots to draft Derek Queen. What are
Troy
your
Weaver
thoughts
really
on
likes
Derek
those.
Queen?
Troy Weaver really likes those big men, I guess.
Yeah, Troy Weaver, man. He did the same thing in Detroit. He would just tank and then just tank for all those picks. So I don't know.
Atlanta is just taking advantage of the Pelicans. I mean, they got
I think
Dyson.
Atlanta was a big winner today.
They got Dyson last year, or a
Honestly,
couple
Salah
years.
is just absolutely cooking in Atlanta. But yeah. To go back, let's
Yeah,
to go back to like Cedric Coward, I guess. Just
Yeah.
not get ahead of ourselves. No, I
Yeah.
mean
yeah.
that's crazy. Like his rise is like super fast. Like he came from nowhere to like being a lottery pick, especially
Yeah.
like recently. Even like in the past few months, I feel like he's like shotting up most people's boards. But yeah, no, he's a good from what I've seen, like a 3 and D wing.
Yeah.
I just want to
I,
emphasize the like he's
yeah.
6'5", and he has like Ravneet said 7'2" wingspan and an 8'10" standing reach and 10-inch hands.
Yeah.
That's just crazy. Sorry, I just had to emphasize that's just crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he interviews really well too. So I think part of the reason I'm guessing he went up draft boards is
Mm,
because he gives really good interviews, like high character guy.
okay.
Yeah.
But so the Portland got the other pick, right? That they traded with
Yeah, so
16.
Portland got the
Yep.
16th pick, which I think that's a problem here is who they took with that pick, and then a 2028 first round pick and 2 second-round picks. So I mean, we could talk about who Portland took.
What,
Henson
what, yeah,
Yang.
what do you guys think about him?
I was shocked. I mean, I've seen like a little like some videos of Henson Yang, but I was not a big fan. Like I was not convinced he'd be able to hang in the NBA at all. Like for me, I thought he would go like second round,
Yeah.
like early second round. I know he's had a lot of hype, but yeah, I was shocked that he went 16. I know like I think Portland had a lot of visits with him and whatnot, so I know they had their eye on him for a while, but still that seems like very very high reach.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on him?
Apparently Atlanta like saw him multiple times and stuff, and so
Well, Atlanta
I
had
guess
23 though, so I
yeah.
don't.
Well,
Yeah,
they probably thought he was gonna be up there at 23.
no, Atlanta
Like,
dodged the bullet in my opinion. That's my opinion. What do you think,
yeah,
Ravneet?
yeah.
So I had him ranked 32, which I guess in a sense this would be a reach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But he reminds me a lot of Zach Edey, and
Mm,
he's a better passer than Edey. Um, but I mean, Edey had like a lot of years of production where Yang doesn't. But I think I saw him actually play live because he played in
Summer
the
League, right?
Summer League, yeah,
Yeah.
or not, yes, last year in Sacramento. So he looked good then. But he's a backup. I thought he's gonna be like a backup big. Like I think there were higher upside guys on the board. Um,
right.
he's one of those bigs where he's not gonna be able to play to the level of the screen. I mean, obviously he can't switch; he's too slow.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a drop big. I figured he's someone that you could plug in for like 20 minutes a game, off the bench. But he's good.
Yeah.
He's young.
That's
I
pretty
mean,
good.
high IQ. I do agree with you, Nov. Like I think 16 was a little bit high,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, again, like if you could hit on your guy, you could, then at 16 you find an NBA bench player. I think you did your job as a GM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we could look back at like picks 5 years ago, and then no one really cares about the draft position,
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
how well they're doing. But yeah, this pick was a little too rich for my
Just
taste. I
defensive.
like the Edie
Just,
comp though.
yeah. Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
good comp. I think like a lot of people with Yang were talking about his passing, like that's his biggest strength.
Yeah.
They're just hoping for like that sort of like Jokic, Sengun type of touch and feel for a big man. So I mean,
Yeah.
I don't see it, but yeah,
Well,
His
Jokic
de-
is tough. Yeah. I
yeah,
wouldn't
not
he has
give.
no
Jokic. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
he has no defense too. Like he can't move like you guys said. He has no
Hmm.
explosiveness. He's not. I don't know. Yeah, that was a bit. That was the biggest surprise of the first round. Would you say?
I think so. Yeah. I think it was. Yeah. I think that and the Ace Bailey storyline was. Yeah.
That's a
Pretty.
good transition. Let's talk a little Ace Bailey going
Yeah.
to Utah. He said he didn't really want to play for them. They said we're gonna take you anyway, and you're gonna like it. He did a little post get picked interview and didn't look too happy. And I believe this. I think this is true that Washington had a private workout with him recently or today, I think, or something that got leaked. It was private, so I don't know if that kind of steered Utah to say, hey, let's just take him right now or something, or I don't know, but yeah, what'd you think of the Utah just picking him and saying, "Hey, you're playing for us"?
It reminded me of the Kobe story, like the Kobe draft story. Do you guys remember that a little bit? I'll just say it for your
Hmm.
listeners. But basically, the Nets had the 10th pick, I want to say, in that year draft, in the '96 draft.
Hmm.
And um, I think Kobe had a workout, and the Nets GM at the time was Calipari, and he saw him, really liked him, and he's like, "I'm going to pick Kobe," and Kobe's like, "I'm not going to play for you." And then the Nets ended up picking Kerry Kittles, but
Oh wow.
and Laker. I mean, Kobe fell, and but he would have played for him. Like he told, I think he admitted later on that he would have played for the Nets. So I just kept thinking about that with Ace. I'm like, I
Mhm.
had him ranked third on my big board.
Oh wow.
It was close between him and my
VJ.
fourth player, but um, I think the Jazz did the right thing. It sucks that they fell, but it's interesting that how it they ended up with the guy they would have picked at probably three, I think.
Yeah.
So what
No,
do
Yeah,
you guys
his
I actually had him third on my, or fourth on my big board too. Like it was between him and VJ. Like they're like so close, but for me.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts on like Ace as a prospect? Like I see the ceiling with him like is insane. So I have to give credit to Austin Ainge who just recently took over, like you said, for them to like kind of call his bluff because obviously he was his representation was clearly trying to gear him towards like going towards Washington, Brooklyn, or New
Mhm.
Orleans. I think were the three spots. So, but no, I love Ace Bailey as a prospect. I know he's been polarizing recently. Like I've seen some people rank him in like the like low teens. So, yeah, what do you think of Ace Bailey as a prospect?
So one thing was he was I think listed as 6'10" like during the whole year, but then at the combine he was like 6'7" and a half.
All right.
Not a big deal. I mean, he had a 7 foot wingspan, and I think that makes up for it. He's actually, I think he's one of the better shooters in the draft, which is weird to
Oh
say because
wow.
he didn't shoot like that great from the line,
yeah.
and he shot 69% from the line, 35% from three. But
Hmm.
it's like his shot selection is what like he
Yeah.
just takes tough shots, and he makes a lot
Hmm.
of them. But he was streaky, like he was a streaky shooter. Um, there was a a quote that he said like I don't I don't like something about like the shots that he takes if they're bad shots, and he's like I don't
Oh,
think
he said no, right? Yeah, I
yeah
remember that. Yeah, they asked him. He
yeah
said, "I don't take bad," or like, yeah, he doesn't believe any shots he takes is a bad shot.
yeah, and GMs or at least like one GM did not like that answer,
Yeah.
but I kind of agree with him in a sense because it's like with DeMar DeRozan like for like 95% of players, that's probably like a lot of his shots are not good shots, but because it's DeMar and he can make them, it's like it ends up being a good
Right.
shot. The thing with Ace was his handle is not the strongest. Like a lot of times he doesn't want to dribble more than
Mhm.
3-4 times, but he'll
Hmm.
attack closeouts, he'll attack the basket, but he's not like Jabari Smith, but he makes you think about it. Like, is this guy like Jabari Smith? Does he just not want to dribble? But
Right.
he has a turnaround jumper either way. And I mean, going on over his left shoulder, right shoulder, which is really tough to make. And at his age, I mean, he's done a really good job. So I like him a lot. Main thing is handle. He has the defensive potential.
Yeah.
Um, I thought he would have been a great fit in Philly. I thought he should have gone there, learned from Paul George. But
Yeah.
yeah, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I think yeah, Philly would have been good. I think they're probably I don't know. Yeah, they should have taken a chance, but VJ was the safe pick, I guess, a safer pick for them. But yeah, Bailey. I mean, his wingspan's like what 7 foot,
Hmm.
1 inch, 8 foot, 11 inch standing reach. And he had a good catch and shoot rate, so he was making 39% on his catch and shoots, for threes, which is like pretty good. Um, and yeah, like he has a high ceiling, and like you said, his defensive potential is decent. I know he's not there yet. His handle's not there yet, but I was very surprised that he didn't really want to play for Utah because like Utah's like a place where he can just chuck it. Like he can just chuck there. Like that would be that's a good spot. Like I know he wanted what Wizards, Pelicans, and Nets. Yeah, Nets he
Hmm.
would chuck. Wizards he would chuck. Pelicans, yeah, he'd probably get some time there. But Utah, I mean, he has full leashes there. Like he can do whatever
Hmm.
he wants.
Yeah, they
So
need a 3-and-D wing there.
yeah, so I mean,
Yeah.
he'd be able to take all the shots he wants.
He
Yeah.
he could have learned a little bit more about like shot selection if he went to
Yeah,
Philly.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
but but no, I think to your point, he wanted to go to those places where he could chuck it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and there's no guarantee that Paul George will be on the team in Philly. Like I don't know. I've seen rumors that he might
Yeah,
be.
that's why I agree with Ravneet. Like, I think
Yeah,
Philly would have been like perfect for him.
yeah,
And just like the whole like Just like atmosphere of Philadelphia, like Nick Nurse, they have the experienced vets like Paul George he could learn from. I think he just wanted to go to a place where he gets like a 30% usage rate, and just so his
Yeah.
representation can get that big contract and get
Yeah.
paid. So I think he was getting sort of like some bad advice, in my opinion. I do agree. Like Utah is actually a good fit. Like they kind of need a 3-and-D wing. So I'm not sure. I was wondering like if they're gonna trade him like when they took him, but I guess Daryl Morley didn't want to call his bluff. Boston Ainge did. So yeah, I mean credit to Utah. I think Utah had a great draft. I thought they were one of the big winners today. But yeah, in terms of Ace Bailey, you're right. Like he's a very tough shot maker. That's his biggest critique. Like he takes bad shots, but he makes them, and that's something that I think like you could teach out of him, kind of.
Yeah.
I also think like something that maybe like his weakness is like he's a little like going to the rim, like he's a little light. He's not really good at like initiating contact, finishing at the rim. Maybe that's something that will come while he's in the NBA. But yeah, I think his ceiling is insane, like super high. I think it's almost as high as I would say Dylan Harper. So I think even both their ceilings are just
Yeah.
insane. It's definitely higher than VJ Edgecombe in my
Wait,
opinion.
Rodney, were you comparing from that story you said about Kobe? Were you comparing Ace Bailey to Kobe Bryant or what?
Yeah, because I mean, neither of them. I mean, not the player
draft
themselves, but that they wanted to go to a
Yeah.
particular team.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, you hear like Rashard Lewis too, like comps with him.
Michael
Which
Porter
makes sense.
Jr. I think
Michael Porter Jr. Yeah,
that's a good floor for him. He
Yeah.
it's like I don't think he wants to be that. I think
no, yeah,
Tracy Brady. Yeah.
yeah. He definitely should have higher ambitions than Michael Porter Jr.
Let's just get to some comments here. People want to talk some Kings stuff a little bit. Back to it a little bit. Why did the Kings need a field taking get the 24th pick? What do you guys think?
I mean, Ravneet mentioned it. Like the pick
Yeah.
that they traded away is pretty much going to be around probably
Stunning.
24 and 2027, and they're trying to win now clearly. So that's pretty much it. I don't know if there's more to it than that, to be honest.
Yeah, the other option it does give them is like flexibility to trade Monk or Keon potentially.
That's
like,
true. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Or Devin Carter.
Or Carter,
DeMar. Yeah. They got too many guards to get. I mean, who knows? Keon, maybe? I don't know. There's
Keon,
you never know.
wow,
This
I'd be
team.
surprised. They haven't even extended Keon yet. I would be surprised.
Kind of like I still expect a few moves to be made.
Yeah.
Like Portland is not going to keep all these centers. They drafted Donovan Clingan. They have
Right.
this year, and then they have obviously Ayton, Robert Williams. So
right.
and again with the King. I mean, I think the Kings and the Blazers might be good trade partners potentially. Yeah. So I think the Kings. It wasn't a bad move by any means. I think it made sense on a lot of fronts. It just we don't know the finished roster before the season starts.
True.
Taking bad shots and make them is what they said about Curry at Davidson. Yeah, I mean, he's going to be taking a lot of shots in Utah, and he's going to let it rip and let it chuck.
Curry's the best shooter.
I think
his shooting isn't as good as Curry's was at Davidson. But yeah.
I think shot selection, like you guys were saying, like you can learn from Paul George and stuff like that. I feel like it's like in Utah, like he won't need to care about shot selection like first year or two. Like just let him chuck, and then once Utah is good and stuff like that, he'll figure out the shot selection a little bit.
Yeah, Utah's definitely gonna let him chuck. But Utah also did say recently that they're gonna try to shift to win now focus, but we'll see. I mean, he'll get his minutes, so.
Was there, Ravneet, is there anyone in the top 15, let's say, that you liked that just who did well in the top 15 that you liked, and like for players that was a good pick for that team?
I think you could go down the list, and a lot of them make sense. I thought Khan was a little bit of a reach at 4. I like him. I think he's a safe prospect, and he fits their team very well. But I also think I had Trey Johnson higher and Ace Bailey. So I thought you can make the argument that Trey Johnson is a better shooter, if not the same level of shooter that Khan is. But he actually has like a lot more in his bag. He has a lot of handle. I'm a big Trey Johnson fan, so
Yeah,
Oh
same.
wow.
I love Trey Johnson.
yeah,
I have him in like that same tier with like Ace Bailey and Edgecombe, and
yeah,
I think he's like he reminds me of like Brandon Roy, like Ray Allen. He gets a lot of comps because he's so good at catch and shooting and like moving off the ball.
yeah.
So I agree. I think Trey Johnson. I agree with what you said. Like I think Khan has like a safe floor, but his
Mhm.
ceiling isn't as high as like people that went like Trey Johnson's ceiling or like the other players that went around him.
Yeah,
So, but
but
I
I
get
think
why Charlotte took him.
yeah, but I think it's a good win for the Wizards. I think that again, like they were one of the losers on lottery night, but like to
Yeah,
end up with Johnson at
Trey
6, I think is
Johnson.
really good.
Yeah.
Um, I'm really high on Fears too, so that was I liked that pick a lot with the Pelicans, and they may need a point guard, with Murray out for a lot of the year.
Yeah.
Um, Jaeger Demon was a little bit of a reach for me.
Mm,
I went back and forth between the other player the Nets picked, or the next one which was
Nolan
Nolan.
Traore.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
thought they were very close, so it's kind of interesting that they ended up with both.
Yeah, they're kind of similar, no? Like their play sets as a point guards, like playmaking point guards, right?
Yeah, I think like even you can put Jonas in there too. Like all
Yeah.
three of them, you can make an argument for picking one over the other. Um, the thing about Yegor is that he doesn't attack as much like to the paint, and he doesn't get fouled a whole lot, and he's 6'8", so you would kind of expect him
Hmm.
to go with more physicality. But he is the best passer of the 3 point guards there. I mean, he's the best passer in
Yeah.
the draft,
In the
and if he
draft,
doesn't
yeah.
work at as a point guard, I mean, you could play him as a wing. He was also the worst shooter of those three, which is why I had him
Mm.
ranked third among those 3 point guards. So yeah, what did you guys think of the Jaeger pick? I thought that was
I
interesting.
liked Jaeger from what I've seen, just because I like the fact that, like you said, I know you said he's a poor shooter, but I like the fact that
Mhm.
he actually shot it. Like he would shoot like a lot. Like he wouldn't be afraid to shoot.
Yeah,
And I just like you said, the passing. Like I just love that he's a great passer. But yeah, I think his skill set kind of does overlap with like Nolan Traore, so I thought that was interesting. Yeah, Kasparis. Yeah, I wasn't really. I didn't see much of Kasparis, to be honest.
Mhm.
I wasn't like a huge fan from what I've saw, but yeah, I just didn't think he was like super athletic. I just like the height with Jaeger too, like him being 6'8", like you said, like that makes him like more versatile. And I think like he's so young that I feel like he'll just grow into, if he could just like grow into a skill set. I feel like he has a higher ceiling than the other two, so that's why I didn't mind the pick actually. But
yeah,
I get the flaws. I see the flaws with him too.
yeah. He has a high floor just because of his. I mean, he enters the NBA as one of the best passers. I think. Like so, he has a
Mm,
high floor, um, and I think one of those two players they picked are going to end up playing pretty well at point guard for them. So,
yeah.
I
but
like the yeah for Miami's Kasparis pick. I kind of
Mhm.
liked it, like the fit with like if they have him and Davion, it's kind of like a good mix. They're giving comps to him for like Bogdanovich a little bit of
Who?
passer.
Kasparis?
Yeah, uh,
He kind of reminds me of Dragic.
yeah, I see the
Goran
Dragic
Dragic.
one more.
He
Yeah,
kind of reminds me of Dragic, so it's kind of funny. He went
that's
to
pretty.
Miami.
That's pretty good. I mean, if they're getting Dragic, then I mean that's a pretty good pick for
I mean,
Miami.
yeah, if he has a career like Dragic, that's pretty good. I just think like
Kasparis, yeah,
his defending to me is just kind of. I don't know. A lot of guards are like that too, so
yeah.
they're just gonna be
But
weak.
I wanted to also just talk about like I want you guys' thoughts on Khan a little bit because he got
Hmm.
picked pretty high. I know he's not the most athletic guy, but he's got like good numbers and stuff. That's why people are kind of high on him a little bit. What do you guys not like about Khan? What do you guys like about Khan? And you guys saying it's too high? Just want more thoughts there.
Um, I mean, he's 6'5", 6'6" wingspan. Little like I remember first watching him, I'm thinking like, man, can he really defend NBA guys?
Yeah,
Um, he seems a little bit slow laterally, but I mean, he gives a lot of effort, and he played in a lot of high state games, and he was never really picked on. So I guess I mean NBA athletes are different. but yeah, he plays with a lot of fire. And
Yeah.
when Flag went down in the ACC
Hmm.
tournament, he picked the Slack up, and he was their
Hmm.
best player.
Yeah.
Um, and you can make the argument that he's like the second best shooter in the draft.
Yeah.
I think the first one is Kobe um, Brea. But yeah, I mean, he. I've heard the Clay comps, which is interesting. I didn't like
Yeah.
hear that until recently. So,
Mm.
but I feel
Yeah,
like, yeah. Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, yeah, his shooting is insane. Like he had really good shooting
And on high
stats.
volume.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
91.4% from free throws, 41% from threes as a freshman. He hit 43.3 off the catch from three, and he was 43.2% from his mid-range pull-up. So, like really, really good. Like he's gonna be a really good shooter. Like that's like a guarantee, I think.
What do you see as his upside? I guess.
I see like Austin Reeves to me.
Mhm.
Like he reminds me of like Austin Reeves. You just mentioned him too, Bogdan Bogdanovic. He has a little bogey in
Yeah,
him.
I see that.
So just kind of mixture of those two. I don't have a problem with Khan. I just think that where he went, like there's other players I would have rather taken a risk on the higher ceiling. Khan's gonna
Yeah.
have a safe floor. I think he's gonna have a like nice long career in the NBA. But just I just feel like the players around him have a higher ceiling. So it's just more like risk versus if you want to play it safe if you're a GM. So I think that
Gee,
I actually don't mind the pick for Charlotte. I would have,
what?
like Ravneet said, taken Trey Johnson, but I see why they took Con, and he's a Duke, so he's local.
Hmm.
What
So
do you guys think
yeah,
about Desmond Bain as a comp?
mm,
Not the
I don't see it.
defense.
Yeah,
Um,
with Desmond Bain without the D.
yeah.
No, I think he's a better playmaker.
Yeah, I
On
think
it,
the Khan can't really create a whole lot for himself.
yeah,
Hmm.
I don't see him getting
Hmm.
past a lot of like NBA defenders. Like I think if it's closeouts, he's going to attack. Um,
Hmm.
but like he's more. I feel like he's going to be more of a movement shooter at the next level.
mm,
But that's where it's like the coaching matters a whole lot. Like what's this? What's the vision for from the coach's perspective on this player? And like what can he do? So yeah.
yeah.
All right. I guess you guys want to talk about in the back end of the draft now. Did you like anything notable from the back end, the last 15 picks, last 10 picks, um, that you thought that was a good spot?
I think you already touched on it a little bit, Zayd, but Jonas at 20, I thought was a
Yeah.
steal. I was surprised that he fell below Walter Clayton Jr. And I
Yeah.
was high on Clayton too. But I think I had him around the early 20s, but I didn't think he was going to go higher than Jonas. So I think the Heat. I think they have one of the best scouting departments in the league. Um,
Hmm.
so I think they did great. Jace Richardson to the Magic. That was like a very common mock draft pick. Um,
Yeah, they need a point guard.
yeah, so that was yeah, it made a lot of sense. They needed shooting. I actually think like he ended up with the 6'6" wingspan. I want to say at the combine, so that gave me some hope that maybe he could play guard some twos at the next level. The main question for him is like can he be a point guard facilitator? And I
Hmm.
don't, because he didn't really have that role at Michigan. But I think he's again like a really safe player, really good high floor player, and I think he's going to fit that Cole Anthony spot for them.
Mm,
That's a good point.
yeah,
Yeah, he's 6 feet, but 6'6" wingspan is pretty nice.
Yeah,
Um, and yeah, like you said, he might not even end up being a point guard. Like he might not. Uh, so it's small guards are is tough. Like you got to be like a really good shoot. Like you got to be an elite shooter. Like if you're like 6 feet or something, that's pretty much like the only way you stay in the league. Or I'm trying to think of other 6 foot guards. It's like I
TJ
guess like who?
McConnell.
Oh yeah,
DJ
yeah, TJ
McConnell.
McConnell. Yeah, I'm
He reminds
thinking
me of
like
like Mike Conley, kind of another small guard,
yeah,
like left. I
Yeah,
just left-handed, but yeah,
yeah,
that's the problem. He's very small.
yeah. He kind of
yeah.
reminds me of like CJ McCollum a little bit. not
Mm.
as good handle. But I actually
Fair
think
enough.
Cole Anthony's a decent comp to him. He
Oh
he
yeah.
he attacks the paint like he's not scared to attack. So
How's it
that's
shooting?
it was pretty good. Like
Yeah.
uh,
41.2% from three,
Oh
49.3
wow.
from the field,
Oh
and
yeah.
84 from the free throw line.
yeah.
42% from threes. Really good.
He made 12 points, 3 rebounds. Yeah, he was
Wasn't he
he had good
rumored
stuff.
to the Kings? Or like
Yeah.
before the draft wasn't the Kings, but there was a lot of point guards rumored to the Kings.
Yeah, there was rumors about Richardson to the Kings for sure. I can't remember if Clifford worked out for the Kings, so I don't know if that gave that was something
Yeah,
that the
maybe
Kings
that was like
considered.
Scott Perry's guy, and I guess they
Yeah,
were waiting to pull the trigger to see who was
yeah.
available. But yeah, I guess Ravneet, I wanted to ask you about Colin Murray Boyles. He was very polarizing. I saw some people have him as high as like top 4, top 3 on their board. I personally didn't see that with him. I think he had like his shooting worried me.
Mhm.
But what do you make of Colin Murray Boyles and his fit with the Toronto Raptors?
Yeah, I am not the biggest fan of his. I had him 25th on my big board.
Hmm.
Um, really good rebounder. Can possibly switch, 1 through 5. Um, but if the shooting, like you said, doesn't come around, then he's more of a 5. So if he's more of a 5, then you have a 6'6",
He's a small
you know,
5, yeah.
small 5, but 7-foot wingspan. And it's like, well, that type of player reminds you of Draymond a little bit.
Hmm.
So, but like Draymond is like one of one almost. It's hard to
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
compare anyone to him. He's just super intelligent, one of the smartest defensive players we've ever seen. And it's the other thing is like as a team, you really have to commit to him. I think being your
Mm.
future center. And if you were willing to do that, then I can kind of see the vision. But if you're planning on him playing the 4, I just don't trust his shooting well enough to play him there. So
Do you see like a little Sabonis maybe? Kind of the way that he can't shoot and you kind of have to build around him, like the fit if he doesn't like learn how to shoot anyway.
But this
yeah,
this guy's only 6'6", right?
Yeah, he's
yeah,
6'6". That's his thing. Sabonis is like 6'10", so he's got
Yeah.
bigger, obviously. So
Um,
Draymond would be hard to replicate.
yeah. He plays with a lot of effort, though. I mean, that's one thing you have to give him. Like he wasn't
Hmm.
on a winning team, but he never gave up throughout the season. So I
right.
think there's value. I think there's value in him. I do think a lot of these guys we're talking about, you
Hmm.
can make the argument that they're all going to pan out, but it,
Yeah.
it really depends on like the vision for that team to invest into that player and the fit. So like I would if I was like I need a center and I want someone like with his defensive tenacity, I would pick him, but I would have the vision that I'm going to play him mostly at the center unless it's with this a 5 who could spread the floor.
There's
All right.
comps out there, like a defensive version of Julius Randle. There's that comp. There's Justice Winslow is another comp.
He's more of a big in the wing, but
Yeah,
yeah.
he's
Yeah,
bigger. Yeah, just was a little more of a wing.
yeah, um,
Yeah, I think the Raptors reached at 9 to get him. I did not like
yeah.
that pick.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
thought they were gonna go Malawatch, to be honest.
I thought so too. I thought he was a great Malawatch was a great fit at 10.
Toronto.
Yeah, with the Suns. I mean, yeah, it
Yeah.
would have been with Toronto, but with the
Mhm.
Suns, I think him falling to 10 was a
Yeah.
good pick for them.
So do you
They
think Malawatch was the best center in this draft?
I have a video on this topic,
There you go.
but yeah, so I did a deep dive into Malawach and to Derek Queen, and I
Oh,
think
sure.
it's very close. It's kind of like what you want in a team, and you can, depending on the other players on your roster, you can make an argument for either. They're in the same tier for me. So I had Queen just because I think he has more like creativity, more just upside as a player.
Upside.
Malawach is never going to wow you on offense. He's like that Rudy Gobert type of defensive anchor for your team.
Yeah. He reminds me of like Clint Capella. That's who
Yeah,
Malawach reminded me of. Yeah, I see where you're saying like Derek Queen has like he has more of an upside. But
yeah,
Malawach is also like very raw. Then I think he just started playing basketball recently. He's one of those from like the Africa
yeah.
Academy.
From 13,
So
yeah, like
yeah.
13. Yeah, I don't. He was knocking down 3-pointers in like
Yeah.
workout videos. So
Yeah, there was some there was talks about him being able to shoot too.
yeah, so you never know. I mean, but I saw the same thing with Derek Lively, and
Oh
That's
yeah,
true.
but like
yeah.
I think he's that type of like Lively's also another comp. I guess you could throw out there for him.
Yeah.
I want to just talk about a couple players that I just like from the draft. I want you to just give me a little bit if you like him or not.
Mhm.
Carter Bryant to the Spurs at 14.
That's my
He's
guy.
great. He's from Arizona, 19, 6
I
7
love
wing, 3
Carter
and D,
Bryant.
3 and
He's your
D
guy.
guy.
That's my guy right there. Yeah, I
Yeah,
love Carter Bryant.
yeah.
I think I ranked him like eighth.
Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
I he's like one of those like again like this is what a defensive wing looks like. I think he's a perfect fit for the Spurs. Um, I had him a little bit lower than like a couple other wings. Like I had Coward higher, I had Asenge higher, the highest I
Mhm.
guess of the three. Um, but yeah, I think he's a really good fit. He's exactly what the Spurs I think needed.
yeah.
But
Um, yeah, he's a 37 from three. Arizona, freshman at Arizona, 37 from three, 46 field goal percent. Six, like basically a 7 foot wingspan at 6'7", 8 foot 10 standing reach, 215 pounds. Um, yeah, he has a lot of, he has, pretty, what do you guys think about his ceiling? Do you guys just think he's just going to be like a normal 3 and D guy, or is the ceiling a little bit lower? Or what do you think?
go ahead, Naf. I'm kind of curious.
Um, yeah, I think that's the thing. Like his ceiling is hard to tell because he didn't really play much at Arizona, and he's like so young. So his ceiling as a 3 and D wing, it can be I don't know. I have like his comp as like Jabari Smith, like Aaron Gordon kind of. So
Mhm.
maybe like Aaron Gordon, like his ceiling, but I could see him going like farther. It's hard to tell because he didn't play much at Arizona. I think a lot of people draft him just based on that profile of him being a 3 and D wing that could guard 1 through 5. And his shot looks nice. So yeah, I don't know. It's hard to tell. It's like kind of sort of like a limited sample size, but yeah, Ravneet, what do you think?
Yeah, I think he's like a good high end starter player. Like I don't think he's ever going to be a star.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a handle. He didn't shoot it a whole lot. Also, um, so but and like the reason I had him a little bit lower than Isenge and Coward was because he struggled from the free throw line. It wasn't bad. It was like
Hmm.
70%, you know. But like I think he shines on defense. Like that. That's
Yeah.
he. We talk about like 16 game players like in the playoffs versus like a 82 game player, and I feel like he's a 16 game player. Like you want that guy in the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a comp that people give him. He might be like a little bit of a better defensive version of Harrison Barnes. Like that might be his
Yeah,
kind of the
I see
type
Yeah.
that.
of player, and that's
Yeah.
on
I
this.
like
They're
that.
on the same team.
Yeah.
That's good. Hey, just everyone here. Just want to thank everyone that's here. If you guys want to like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, we appreciate it. Appreciate Ravneet Singh coming on, giving us this draft expertise, just going through some players, um, and we'll talk some second round Kings possible picks in a little bit here. But let's just get through a couple more players that are just interesting that we can talk about. What did you think? What do you think about? I mean, we didn't talk about too much, but we just talked about the trade. But Derek Queen, I just want to talk about him a little bit because he's kind of an interesting player. What do you guys think
Yeah.
about him?
I really like Queen again. Like I've heard the Schengen comp, and I think it's fair. Um, Sabonis also fair. I don't know if not these are your kind of players, but they're like bigs who can be offensive hubs for your team, but they may lack rim
Defense.
protection. So
Yeah, his defense is a little
Yeah,
sus.
really
yeah,
bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
so I think a really good fit would have been Washington because Sar would have covered
Mm,
a lot of his like you could have had SAR's potential rim protection with his shooting, and right now Queen can't shoot much. I mean, maybe
Right.
I think he could eventually shoot from the mid range. Three is a little
Mhm.
bit more of a question mark, but his passing is was like really elite, and he's extremely crafty around the basket. Um, so, but at the same point, like I don't think he's a good fit next to Zion.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that I didn't actually like the fit at all. I thought um, like Zion and him, neither of them can really protect the
To
rim
kind of
that
shrink the court.
yeah, and they're not going to spread the floor
Hmm.
that much. So yeah, that's the one thing I didn't like. I like Queen, but I don't like the fit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
no,
want.
that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a strange fit now that I really think about it, like Queen and Zion, because they both, can't really shoot. But I
Yeah,
think Queen like has elite footwork too. From what I
hmm
saw, he has really nice footwork.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, I think he can maybe like lose some pounds. He's a little heavy on the heavier side. If he could just
Yeah.
become more nimble,
for
and
sure.
that way he can move his feet better on defense, then yeah. But I definitely see the potential with Queen. I see why they took him. But yeah, the fit is definitely a strange fit.
I always like doing comps. I think it's just they're fun to talk about.
He reminds me of like Zach Randolph, kind of.
Yeah,
That
Zach
was just
Randolph
my
was
thought.
was a guy, and like a little bit of Brad Miller, maybe Brad Miller and
Mhm.
Randolph combined type thing.
Yeah,
Like Sengun, like the Sengun comp Ravneet said. I see like
Yeah,
Sengun and Randolph in
yeah,
him.
yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
It's sort of
Yeah, that was.
like I don't know, like kind of like if he could like follow this player's trajectory because Nas Reed when he came out of college was like super heavy and he like transformed his whole body. And if he could just sort of like maybe take a page out of Nas Reed's book, that would be good for him. I think.
I've actually heard the Nas comp for him.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I could see that too.
But he would have to like change. I feel like right now I don't really see it, but he would have to like you said, he'd have to work on his shot.
Shooting, yeah.
Yeah.
I want to just talk about. All right. Well, before we get to the second round, I just want one more player to talk about because we didn't really talk about him. And he was the third pick of the draft. Let's talk about VJ Edgecombe a little bit. Did we talk about him already?
Not really. Yeah.
Brush by
So
him. Yeah.
yeah.
It's
So
Yeah.
nothing.
you go
Yeah.
ahead
What
now
were your
because I
thoughts?
think you're higher on BJ than me actually. So I want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, I thought at first when I first saw VJ Edgecombe, I kind of wasn't really buying it, but then I watched like more and more clips of him, and I was like, yeah, I see like the explosiveness and the downhill speed. I know
Yeah.
the problem with him is like his finishing at the rim numbers, like
Yeah.
you said
It's so
before,
bad.
right?
It's
It's
so
really
bad.
bad. So I see like kind of like a Russell Westbrook there, but he's gonna have to. I like his shot. Like his shot is super nice. I like his measurements, like 6'5". The fact that he could be like sort of like a hybrid guard wing, that like he's sort of like in the middle there. But yeah, I really I just really like the explosiveness, man, and the downhill speed and his shot. But yeah, I know I've heard the finishing at the rim numbers is a problem, but yeah, he'll have
Yeah.
to work on that for
Yeah,
sure.
he made just to talk about the finishing a little bit. He was making 49% of his attempts at the rim in half court.
Not
And
good.
yeah, so in high school he was 45%, and as a senior he was 52. So it's not like he's getting any better or anything. Which
Yeah,
is just so weird. Like that's like I don't know. He doesn't have like I mean he doesn't what his handle and his left hand's a little weak.
Yeah, his handle's pretty weak. That's the main reason why I had
Yeah.
him. I had him sixth actually. So yeah, I had Ace Bailey three, Trey Johnson four, Fears five, and BJ six. And it's really for me if it's the handle. Like if he could develop a better handle, like he could end up being a better player than all those guys.
yeah,
Because he has he has the rest of the athleticism and
Yeah.
obviously like to your point, guys' point, finishing at the basket. Um, but like he's one of those like if you picture like a NBA two guard, like if you were to mold one, he would look like that, you know.
yeah,
He's this I mean he was I think you can make the argument that he was the best athlete in the draft. So
Oh
like
yeah.
he was so good in transition. Um he was off to a really slow start, but like he
mm,
kind of became better as the season went on, became more of a consistent shooter. Like near the end of the season, anytime he was wide open and shooting, I just felt like it was going to go in.
Hmm.
mhm.
Um, good cutter. Um, but to me, it's the creation. So that's why I was a little bit lower. I just don't think his ball handling is there. And I hear that I think I even heard it on the draft today about like his comp to Dwayne Wade, and I was like, I don't
Oh
like
wow,
that's a little
crazy.
rich. Like Wade had really good handles for his when he was coming out of the draft,
What
and
about like a Donovan Mitchell? Is that more maybe in line?
even Mitchell. I think
He has a good handle.
Oladipo. I've heard like
Oh,
Oladipo.
Oladipo. Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, I think that's a good
That's a good
one.
one.
Yeah,
Um, this
Andrew
other one is
Wiggins.
like not as good. KCP.
yeah.
KCP.
Oh, KCP is like his terrible floor.
Yeah,
I'm
What do
gonna
you think
throw
of
out
his
some names.
defense? Do you think
Yeah.
is like he could be good on an elite defender?
yeah. Like right now, I don't think he's that good a defender, but he has all the tools.
Yeah.
So like if you looked at their college performances, you could say that Colin was actually a better defender in college.
Oh
But
wow.
but in the NBA, I'm picking BJ.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Betting on the athleticism and the
yeah.
measurements. Yeah, makes sense.
I'll throw out some names here for some comps just to just get people going here. Andrew Wiggins, Ben Matherin, a better scorer version of Tony Allen.
I like the Tony Allen one. I like the Tony Allen one. I like the what was your second one?
And
I had
Mathurin.
Matherin and
Matherin.
Wiggins. Yeah,
Yeah, Matherin's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. It's he's a very safe pick, right? I think it was a good pick. Like you can't go wrong with him. Like I think he'll be solid in the NBA.
He's solid with the he has a good floor and he has really good upside still.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like he could if he develops a handle, then
he'd
we're
be really
talking
good.
like he could be the best player in the draft.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
besides Cooper, I take that back.
All right, if you let's just talk about that then. Who do you think are going to be the best players from this draft? Who do you think? That's a good transition here. You got Cooper Flag. We could take him out. I'm guessing Dylan Harper's in that same category. Those two. But out of the next, I'm guessing you're high on Ace Bailey. That's going to be in there as well. Is there any other like two players that kind of could be in that contention?
I think, yeah, I mean, that's
I
basically
said all the
mine.
three. Yeah,
It's I'd say Trey Johnson also. Like I think Trey could be, he could be like Bradley Beal or like Devin Booker type of like player, and Fears I think also could. Fears could end up being better than Dylan. I think there were some people in the NBA who actually had Fears ranked higher.
Oh wow.
Besides that, there's a lot of like good role players in this draft. I don't know if I think Queen could end up being really good in Malawatch too. But I mean, that's why I had all these guys in my top tier in my top 10. So it's hard to see anyone outside of that be the best player. But we kind of say that every time, and then
yeah.
Tyrese
Someone's-
and SGA end up going to the finals. So
I got a. What if this is? I got a hot take here.
All right.
This is a hot take. I'm not sure. I'm too confident, but let's just go for it. Got a hot take. Cedric Coward. That's how you say his last name, right?
or I think
Coward.
Coward, yeah,
Just Coward.
yeah.
Yeah, I think you gotta call him a coward, man.
I don't want to call
I
him
saw
that, man.
someone tweet that he needs to change the pronunciation.
Yeah.
So maybe you're
I
on
don't
to
want.
something, man.
I don't want. Yeah. People. Yeah. There was.
People are like,
there
yeah,
was-
maybe coward or say it like in a French way or something.
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. I don't want to say
Do
Coward,
him a
man. But
favor.
I'll call him Cedric. I think he'll be a top 5 player from this draft.
Whoa, that is a hot take, man. That is a hot take.
Hot take. I think Memphis is a top 2 team in the league at developing players. I think them and OKC are the top 2. I think that they can get this guy started. He had he just has a lot of good things going for him, man. He's 6'5", but he's got 7'2" wingspan, 8'10" standing reach. I think his 3-point shooting is really good. I think his defense is pretty good as well, and he has that potential to be even better. And I don't know. I think he has a lot of good tools for being a very good player from this draft. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I'm a little lower. I mean, I thought I was higher on him. I had him 14 and higher than I had Carter Bryant 15. I mean, I think he's a safe player. I mean, if he ends up being like OG, that was the comp that I threw out. I mean, that would be
Yeah.
great. That would provide top 5 value
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
don't see top
But
5.
but yeah, I think the handle is the main thing. But I guess you could say the same thing about OG. I mean, he doesn't have like a whole lot of handle, but he's so good at like just defense and doing everything
Yeah.
else.
I think it's
So
feeling,
if
yeah.
that, I think that's
No, sorry, Ravneet, go
yeah.
ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was
I was
gonna say,
just
I
gonna
think the
say like
ceiling is like
if
Trevor Ariza, like Mikal Bridges, like which isn't top 5. I mean, I guess it could be top 5 from their class, but I
Yeah.
don't. This is a pretty loaded class, top,
Mhm.
especially at the top. So, I mean, I guess there is a pathway, but I don't see. I mean, it's a hot take, so I'll respect the hotness for
I mean,
sure.
he gets to the rim. He has a good finish. He was doing 70% of his attempts at the rim. That's pretty good. He was making so that's really good. Like we
I
said, his
actually
shooting.
think like Noah Essengay's like he's him and Carter Bryant. I think are gonna be better 3-and-D
Oh,
wings.
okay.
Yeah, I liked Ravneet mentioned I like Noah Essengay. I had him and Carter Bryant like right next to each other. I know he got a lot of beef for leaving his team in Germany early because they're in the finals and he came to the draft, and a lot of GMs didn't like that. But yeah, I mean, I like Noah Essengay's profile better.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I'm a big Senge fan. I think he's the best. I think he's the best wing of those three guys. Like I was saying, he's super
Yeah,
young, really skinny. I saw like a Tayshaun Prince comp
Mhm.
for him, and I kind of like that. So, but yeah, I'm higher on Senge, but I don't think any of these guys are gonna
yeah,
be
it's hard with their
all
Yeah.
profiles
stars.
Yeah.
to get into the top 5.
Yeah,
The 3-and-D
Yeah.
profile,
yeah.
yeah.
I think one of the point guards that we've talked about, like either Yakachonis, Traore, or Demon, I think those guys could end up being really good picks in this draft. I mean, if we look back on it,
Yeah. My hot
if
take is
they,
Jaeger Demon is going to be top 6 player from this draft.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
so if
Okay.
I have to pick a
Passing.
player, he would be my player to like bank on.
Mhm.
That in like a few years we're gonna be like, how did he go? Well, he went pretty high actually. So yeah, Robney, I was gonna ask you like, who do you think like that went in like the like lower how or like maybe like past 15, past the lottery? You think in a few years we're gonna look back and be like, how did he go so low?
I think I was highest on Nolan
Oh,
Traore.
okay.
He was at 19 to the net, so I think I had him 11 or
Oh
12.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
wow.
12. So yeah, I was pretty high on him. He also kind of started the season off slowly
Oh yeah, I did hear
and then
that.
got better. And he also, he's playing in Europe, so tougher competition. It's funny,
Mhm.
like I wonder if he kind of played in the U.S.
Mhm.
At the college
Mhm.
level, would we be talking about him a little bit differently?
He
So
was supposed to
it's
be
kind of
he was
interesting.
supposed to be like a top 5 pick, and then he kind of
Oh
like
yeah,
didn't have
last year's mocks, right?
yeah, and didn't have the best
Yeah,
season in France and stuff. So like his
yeah.
shooting's not that good and stuff like that. But
But yeah,
yeah,
Ravneet did mention it's better comp over in Europe, so
yeah, that's true.
the
Yeah.
yeah. I mean that's kind of what happened with like I don't know what do you think about like Ugo Gonzalez. Like I like Ugo Gonzalez from what I've seen, and he played on a like stack Real Madrid team. Was like playing behind
Yeah.
like and players that used to play in the NBA and stuff, so he didn't get much time. But from what I've seen, I really like Ugo Gonzalez. What's your opinions on him, Ravneet?
Yeah, smart cutter. Shooting is his swing skill,
Mhm.
like for a lot of players. He wasn't the best going downhill. Not a lot of like wiggle, but there's good upside with him. Like I think the Celtics could turn him into a decent player. I think he's like his most NBA ready skill is his
Yeah,
defense. So, but I think he's not going to be elite defensively still. Just I think he's going to be solid. Good measurables. I think there's guys in Europe. They're all like they play smart and they
high
play
IQ.
like
Yeah, good
high
passing,
IQ.
good
Yeah,
quick decision making, those good reads. He had like a good assist to
yeah,
turnover ratio. I think it was like 2 to 1 or something.
Yeah, he plays
Um,
hard, man. Like you watch
yeah.
his tape, like he crashes like the glass like almost every time. He's just crashing the glass.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I like. I like the effort. I think he's gonna be a good pick for Boston.
Yeah.
Give me Ravneet, give me your two worst picks in the draft today.
Two worst
Yeah.
picks. I will say this is I guess I was a little bit lower on consensus for the last two Nets
Mhm.
picks, Ben Suraf and Danny
Yeah.
Wolf, which they showed Danny Wolf a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of
On
tears.
ESPN. Yeah, a lot of cheers, but I'm happy for
Yeah.
him. I just think so. He's extremely skilled on offense.
Mhm.
He kind of reminds me of Frank Kaminsky a little
Mhm.
bit, but he has more. He has more of a face-up game than Kaminsky did, and really skilled. I mean, I think I totally see him as like an NBA player. It's just the defense is a concern, and like what position is he guarding? That was my biggest
Mhm.
question for him because he's about 7 foot, I think, but he's very slow laterally. He didn't have like a whole lot of like bad defensive possessions. It wasn't like an effort thing. It's more of a projection thing. Like I don't project him to be that good of a
Mhm.
defender. And is he going to be able to guard fours? I think he's too slow to guard
Yeah.
fours, and I think he's not strong enough to guard fives. So that was my issue with him. And then for Ben Suraf, it was his shooting mechanics are a little bit off. He's young. He I don't think he could play point guard full time, but he I think he could be good. He was probably worth the swing. I just had other guys
Yeah.
higher, and he does have good upside. I don't like his shooting. I don't like his form, and he didn't really have the numbers to back it up. So
Yeah.
kind of a herky jerky type of player. Like yeah, kind of like too antsy on defense, I would say.
A,
But he's young.
a lot of people had Danny Wolf like in the
He had
top
a
8
high range.
16, top 16 or something, top
He had like a
17.
very wide range of where he can
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, I was a lot
Yeah.
lower. I had him 29. I guess I had him like a first round
Yeah.
pick. I mean, I was a little bit surprised to see that he got the invite.
Yeah.
So
When you're on the edge like
um,
that. Um
There was like the
but
last pick too. He was there, and like the last few picks were there too. So it was like it felt like everyone was at this draft. To be honest, I was surprised how many
yeah,
people came up.
well, there was a guy that was in the
yeah,
stands, and
Yeah, that
his
was
name
the last
Yang.
pick. Yanich.
What about Yang? Yeah, I saw Yang in the
Oh, Yang
stands as well.
too.
Yang was there too.
Yang was a
Yeah.
surprise too.
That was a
Hey
surprise.
Rodney, I wanted to ask you about Thomas Sorber. What do you think about him? Because when I
Yeah.
watch him, like he just like screams like old school center to me. He went to, I think he
Yeah.
landed at the perfect spot for him. Obviously OKC,
Yeah.
which is gonna help him. But yeah, obviously I think his strength is probably his defense, right? That's I'm assuming they're drafting him to
Yes.
replace like Hartenstein in the
Yeah.
future.
Um, yeah, exactly. I thought that's exactly what I thought. I was like, this is a Hartenstein replacement. He had about 2 blocks per game, 7'6" wingspan. I think he was. You can make the argument that he was the second best rim protector behind Malawach.
Mm,
So his rim protection is good. You have to play him in the drop coverage in the pick and roll.
mm-hmm.
So that's my only thing with him. But I mean, that's no big deal. I think that's easier to hide now, like now more than ever because teams are going to zone or like you saw Houston play with two bigs. So I think he's in a very good situation. He kind of reminds me of like a Wendell
Oh
Carter
yeah.
Jr. So
Yeah.
I think he's like a low end starter type of player, but I think he fits what they need. I thought they were possibly going to trade this pick,
Mm.
but yeah, it was. I think it was a good pick
Do you
for
I
them.
think
can't
he
believe
is?
Brooklyn didn't trade any of their picks. Speaking of those two picks, I
Yeah,
don't. I mean, drafting 5 players is crazy in the first round.
You
Like you have to
know?
play it. You have to
yeah,
pay all of them. You have to keep them on the roster. Obviously, they probably all of them won't be on the roster in a few years. But that was the biggest. That was probably the second biggest surprise behind the Yank pick, to be honest.
yeah. They have a YouTube series, kind of like about their
Mm.
scouting department over the year, and they talk about like how excited they are
Oh
for
wow.
the 4 picks that they had at the time. So I was watching. I was like, they're not going to keep all 4, and then they
Yeah,
ended up getting
that
the
surprised
5th
me.
pick. And
Appreciate
yeah,
everyone here. If you guys can like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and appreciate Ravneet here coming in for the draft. Let's just get to the last topic here. Let's get to the second round potential picks for the Sacramento Kings. I know some players that were supposed to be in the first round dropped, like Fleming and others. But do you have any potential guys that could be available for the Kings at 42? They have the 42nd pick in the NBA second round tomorrow.
yeah. Rasheer Fleming played at St. Joseph's. I think he's my highest player left. I had him
Oh
17.
wow.
So
Adam
Oh, that'd be
13.
you have it
Yeah.
13.
Kings got to trade up.
Yeah,
I don't think he'll
yeah.
be available at 42 probably. Yeah.
I don't think so. I think he would be a good fit for the Kings. My only question with him is he also he doesn't do well with screen navigation, and he's more of a 4. So that's my only like big concern with him, I guess. There's a French center from Stanford, 4-year player Maxi Renault. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I'm a big fan of him. He's my next highest player. Yeah, I mean, realistically, I think those guys are going to go. I think Noah Penda will be gone. Ado Thoreau, I think, will be gone too. Thoreau reminds me a little bit of Kuminga.
Oh wow.
Um, I think he would be. I think he's worth the upside. I don't think the Kings should pick another guard, and I think
Yeah.
there's some guards left. Chaz Lanier from Tennessee, like really good shooter. You like one of the easily top 5 shooter in the class.
Oh.
Kind of reminds me of Buddy Hield a little bit. But yeah, if I think for the Kings fit, if Noah Penda's there or Rasheer Fleming, Thoreau, Reno,
What do you think
those
about
guys I
Tyrese
think are.
Proctor? How do you think he'll be there?
Yeah, there's been he worked out for the
I
Kings,
think
right?
so. Yeah, I know. Yeah, he's been linked heavily to the Kings.
Yeah, another
Yeah,
guard,
another
but
guard.
like I think over 40% from 3. I don't. I think he's more of a backup point guard. Like he showed he could play some point. So
Was
yeah, it's just like so many guards. So like I don't know.
Yeah, I
Like,
think
Yeah.
I
do
doubt
you
they're
think?
like that'd be crazy if they took another guard. Like we have like
Do you,
7 already or something
do you
there
think
out
like
already.
Kalkbrenner will probably not
Yeah,
fall to
I was
42?
I really like him.
Yeah, I do
I
too.
think yeah. Yeah, I think he could end up being a good like backup big. I have him pretty high on my list. And I even like center. I guess you could say is not like a big
Mhm.
need for the Kings, but in the second round, I think you just go with
be
even if it is a guard or center, you just pick whoever you think is gonna most likely be a
Best
player.
available, yeah. Or like best on your
Yeah,
board.
because even like I mean like yeah, center is not that necessary, but like I don't love Valanciunas that much, so and just have like a defensive big man next to Spo, just to try it, even if it's just like 10 minutes a game or something, that could be
Get
useful.
younger, man.
Yeah, he's a
this is
older,
a
he is like already 23.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Kalkbrenner's 23.
yeah, but
yeah,
still, yeah,
but this is it's a great draft for if you needed a point
Mhm.
guard in the first round. And I think in the second round, the story is if you need a backup
yeah,
big.
Mm.
There's there's a lot of like good 7-footers. There's a guy from Australia, Roko Zikarski. He did not play very much, but he has like really good rim protection. Just like one of those 7-footers, like who could play like 15, 20 minutes a game. So he's young. I think
oh,
he's like
19,
19,
yeah.
20.
A lot of guys from
Yeah.
Australia in the second round.
It's because
Yeah.
of college guys with the NIL. A lot of them go back,
Yeah,
which has been a problem, right? With the
Yeah.
second rounders, like that's why the value sort of has been going down in the second round, or like the quality anyway.
Yeah, 100%. That was like one of the biggest storylines of the
Mhm.
draft. All these guys getting more
Go
money
back.
to go back to
Yeah.
college. So it's going to be interesting to see, like, is next year's draft going to be better, or are those guys also going to trickle into the following year? Are we just going to see more seniors?
Yeah.
So yeah, we have a lot of seniors in this second round.
Yeah. I think
you
a
have
lot of them
any,
like from the COVID too. Like they're just coming back because they had that year because of COVID, right?
Yeah, so it's like
Fifth
fifth
year
year
seniors.
seniors
Yeah,
for
there's a lot of
some.
like fifth year seniors.
Yeah, that's I think Clifford is a 5th-year senior.
Mhm.
He is.
Which is funny. Appreciate Ravneet for coming here, giving us your draft expertise. You got anything to plug on the show here?
Yeah, just a YouTube channel, Attack the Paint. So I talk a lot about the draft and just different topics that I like to make videos about.
Yeah. No,
So Attack the
I saw
Paint.
some of your videos. The content's great. You're getting gameplay in there. You're getting good commentary. Just well organized, well done videos. So check them out. Attack the Paint on YouTube. Appreciate coming here and would love to have you back, man.
Yeah, it was fun, man. Thanks for having me on. I love talking draft or even Kings talk. So we should do it again.
Sounds good, man.
Sounds good.
All right,
Thanks,
guys.
Ravneet.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, guys.
Appreciate everyone here.
All right.
Take care, guys.